A city on the sea, a monument to human ingenuity, a beacon of progress. The RMS Titanic, the largest, most luxurious ship ever built, stood as the crowning achievement of the early 20th century. Its name alone conjured images of power, of dominance over the unforgiving waves. Built by Harland and Wolff in Belfast, Ireland, the Titanic was a true marvel of engineering. At 882.5 feet in length, she was a floating palace, a technological titan destined to revolutionize transatlantic travel. And yet, this monument to human ambition would be claimed by the very force it sought to conquer: the sea. But how? How did something so grand, so powerful, and so advanced meet its end in the icy darkness of the North Atlantic? To understand, we must first look at how she came to be. The year is 1907. The world is changing. The Industrial Revolution has reshaped economies, travel, and the way people view the limits of technology. Transatlantic travel has become a booming industry, and among its fiercest competitors stand the White Star Line and Cunard. Cunard had just released two marvels, the Lusitania and the Mauretania, ships capable of crossing the Atlantic faster than any before them. White Star Line needed an answer, and so J. Bruce Ismay, chairman of White Star, met with Lord Peary of Harland and Wolff. Together, they conceived of a ship so large, so opulent, and so revolutionary that speed would no longer be the measure of superiority. Grandeur would be. The Titanic was to be the jewel of this new fleet, a ship that would redefine luxury at sea. 3 years of labor, thousands of workers, millions of pounds spent. By 1912, she was complete. A masterpiece of steel and rivets, 4 massive funnels. Though only 3 were functional, the 4th added for aesthetics, a grand staircase that could only be described as a work of art. Her owners called her unsinkable. Her designers knew better. But in the days leading to her maiden voyage, such thoughts were far from anyone's mind. She was ready for her journey into history. April 10th, 1912. The world watched as the Titanic left Southampton, England, on her maiden voyage. The air was electric. Hundreds gathered, waving their goodbyes, gazing in awe at this floating city. On board were some of the wealthiest individuals alive: business magnates, aristocrats, celebrities. John Jacob Astor IV, Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidor Straus. They would dine in absolute luxury, enjoying meals prepared by some of the finest chefs in the world. But below deck, thousands of immigrants, hoping to start a new life in America. Their accommodations were simple but far superior to anything they'd seen on previous ships. The Titanic, after all, was not just a ship of luxury, it was a ship of promise. Day after day, she glided across the Atlantic. The weather was calm, spirits were high. But the North Atlantic is a cold and unforgiving place, and it was about to remind the world of that fact. April 14th, 1912. The Titanic had already received multiple warnings of ice ahead. Wireless operators Jack Phillips and Harold Bride had taken down messages from ships in the area, reporting large ice fields. But the Titanic was making good time. Captain Edward Smith, a man with decades of seafaring experience, chose to continue at full speed. It was common practice. The belief? Any iceberg, large enough to damage a ship like the Titanic, would be seen in time. But then, 11:40 p.m. The ship's lookouts, perched high in the crow's nest, spotted it. An iceberg, dead ahead. With only seconds to react, orders were given. Hard a starboard! Full astern! The massive ship began to turn, but not fast enough. A harsh, grinding sound ripped through the hull. Metal shrieked as the iceberg raked along the starboard side, tearing into the ship. At first, it seemed the Titanic had survived. There was no catastrophic jolt, no immediate obvious sign of doom. But down below, water, flooding fast. 5 watertight compartments had been breached. Thomas Andrews, the Titanic's designer, knew immediately she was going to sink. 12:15 a.m. distress signals were sent. The closest ship, the Californian, was only 10 to 20 miles away, but did not respond. The Carpathia, 58 miles away, would come, but it would be too late.
Tell him we're coming as fast as we can, that we should be there in just under 4 hours' time.
Women and children were rushed to lifeboats, but there were not enough. As the situation worsened, panic spread. Crew members fired warning shots to maintain order. The ship's band played, first lively, then solemn hymns, refusing to stop even as the deck tilted higher and higher. By 2 a.m., the bow had been completely swallowed by the ocean. The ship's stern lifted high into the air, and then a horrifying crack. The ship broke in two, and in a matter of minutes, Titanic, the unsinkable, vanished beneath the waves. Over 1,500 souls were lost. Many froze in the icy water, their cries filling the night until, one by one, they fell silent. Only 705 survived, rescued hours later by the Carpathia. The world was shocked, outraged. How could this happen? Investigations followed. Safety measures were changed. More lifeboats, tighter regulations, a new respect for the sea's power. Decades passed. The Titanic became legend. Then, in 1985, the world saw her again. 12,500 feet beneath the Atlantic, Dr. Robert Ballard and his team found her. A rust-covered relic, her bow still unmistakable, a graveyard on the ocean floor. Even now, over a century later, she captivates us. Because the Titanic was never just a ship, she was a symbol, a lesson in hubris, a reminder that nature in all her might cannot be mastered by human hands. And so, as long as we tell her story, the Titanic will never truly sink.